Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about the NWSL, women's soccer, just soccer, only soccer. So the NWSL and Players Association Joint Investigation Report was released on Wednesday, December 14, 2022. I'm not really going to get into it all that much because while there are new details that have been added, a lot of it is stuff we already know from the Yates report and stuff I've already covered and addressed on my channel. I talked about Richie Burke, Paul Riley, Rory Dames, and Arneme Whistler, Amanda Cromwell, and Sam Green, and so on. I've done multiple videos on these people, and I don't want to come across as repetitive. If you want to read the Joint Investigation Report, I have it linked in the description below. Again, there are some new details, and I'm going to be covering that new information in a bit. Before I go any further, remember this guy, Farid Benstiti, former head coach of OL Reign? Yeah, I have another bone to pick with him. According to the joint investigation, Farid openly acknowledged to players on OL Reign that he bullied and body-shamed Lindsey Horan when she was at PSG. Mind you, she was just 18 at the time. When I read that, it came across as him bragging about what he did to Lindsey and getting away with it. This is Roosevelt and Megan Rapinoe's teammates on the U.S. Women's National Team, and here they are listening to this guy practically bragging about what he did to Lindsey. Again, their teammate and their friend. That to me is just so messed up, and Bill Predmore went forward with the hiring of Farid because he already signed the contract. Think about it. I bet the reason why Farid was openly talking about what he did to Horan is because he already got away with it. Farid thought he could body shame and talk about the OL Reign players' bodies and weight because he got away with it the first time. After the Reign players reported it to Predmore, reported what he was saying, Farid was forced to resign. Honestly, Farid Benstiti should have never been hired to OL Reign in the first place. It did not matter how many guardrails Predmore put up to prevent this. Now, let's get into the main story. So, Alyse LaHue, former head coach and manager of Gotham FC. I remember doing a video on her a long time ago, if you consider last year as a long time ago. I remember there was a lot of confusion on why LaHue was fired from Gotham FC. There wasn't much detail about why she was fired. I kind of figured she may have been fired for verbal or emotional abuse, kind of like with Richie Burke of the Washington Spirit, but I really didn't know. After the joint investigation report was released, it revealed why Alyse LaHue was fired. And honestly, it was beyond what I was expecting. I did not see this coming. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Like, I don't think anyone expected to read this, but let's get into it. According to the Joint Investigation Report on pages 56 and 57, if you want to follow along, a player described to the Joint Investigative Team concerns she developed regarding former Gotham General Manager Alyse LaHue's interactions with her. The Joint Investigative Team received evidence that LaHue texted the player, "You were in my dream last night, getting a massage." The evidence shows that LaHue then followed up with, "You were going to get a massage? I didn't see it. Rarely so well behaved in my dreams." Yeah. You wouldn't believe the number of times I had to read this section over because I just couldn't believe it. Who says this to a player? As a player, how do you respond if your coach tells you that they had a dream about you getting a massage and that you're rarely so well behaved in their dreams? Like bro, unless you had a dream where we killed Chucky and went to IHOP for red velvet pancakes, I don't want to hear about your dreams. If anyone is wondering, that was a legit dream I had of me and one of my bestest bros. On brand, to be honest. That aside, The report goes on to say LaHue's inappropriate messages continued even after the player told LaHue that it felt like LaHue was acting like a jealous girlfriend and asked LaHue to accept that we are working together and nothing more. The player explained that although she repeatedly pushed back against LaHue's inappropriate conduct, LaHue persisted. This kind of reminds me of Ryan Wilkinson and Emily Menges, but the biggest difference here is the player is telling LaHue that she doesn't want this. She doesn't consent to this. The player is telling LaHue to accept that they're working together, that they're work colleagues, and that's it, nothing more. The fact that LaHue is persisting with this is actually very disturbing. The report goes on to say, on one occasion, when she informed LaHue that other players had asked why LaHue was so mean to her, LaHue responded, "Tell them kids at the playground always pick on their crush." LaHue later texted the player, "I don't see us as friends." In text messages, LaHue also expressed an emotional reliance on the player and repeatedly questioned the player's interactions with another individual, stating in one message, "You knew I'd be mad about you talking to her so long. Why not adjust? Why not talk to me?" The player said that LaHue was also critical of her religious beliefs and told her that she and other team members who shared those beliefs were seen as judgmental. The whole time I read this, I was thinking, you're a coach for a professional women's soccer team. Why are you acting this way? Why do you think it's okay to act this way? This is a professional environment, and as a coach, you need to maintain a level of professionalism and maturity. If you're developing feelings for one of your players, that's on you to deal with and work through. How LaHue is acting here is just so childish and reminds me of high school. Like, you knew I'd be mad about you talking to her so long. Why not adjust? Why not talk to me? Maybe it's because you're making the player so uncomfortable. Maybe it's because they're afraid. Maybe they think you're going to make a move on them. What player, what person would be comfortable talking to a coach who's acting like, as the report says, a jealous girlfriend? The report then says, another member of the team said that LaHue paid special attention to this player and described instances in which she believed LaHue provided preferential treatment or sought to be close to the player. This team member said she had not experienced a similar situation in a professional environment. During the league's 2021 investigation into LaHue's conduct before her termination, multiple staff members reported that LaHue behaved differently around this player. As one staff member explained, there had always been a high interest and attention in this player by LaHue. During its investigation, the Joint Investigative Team identified discrepancies in versions of an email exchange involving LaHue that was part of the file from the 2021 league investigation. Notwithstanding these discrepancies, based on the totality of evidence, including interviews and other documents, the Joint Investigative Team determined that LaHue's interactions with the player constituted misconduct. LaHue participated in an initial interview with the Joint Investigative Team, but canceled a second scheduled interview and declined the Joint Investigative Team's repeated requests to reschedule. As a result, the Joint Investigative Team was not able to fully question LaHue about her interactions with the player. In an email, LaHue's counsel described the allegations against LaHue as false claims. I don't know how they can say the allegations against LaHue are false claims when there is so much evidence and the fact that other players and staff witnessed how LaHue was treating this player. It seems pretty cut and dry what happened. Alyse LaHue developed feelings for a player, tried to get close to this player. The player tried to establish boundaries. LaHue continued pursuing this player, even though the player made it clear that they're just working together. I feel really sorry for this player. They shouldn't have been put into this situation, into this position, and I hope the player is doing better now. Anyway, yeah, this was a wild ride, to be honest, but at least we know what happened to LaHue and why she was rightfully fired. That is all I have for you guys today or tonight. And remember, if you had a dream about me and it doesn't involve us escaping a cult by using an app on our phone to increase our stealth, then going to Denny's where we run into all my exes, I don't want to hear about it. Yep, that was another dream I had one night. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.